Comrades, when I work out what I spent at the market today, that is $12,174 from a minimum wage of $16,000. Now, party leader, me not pay my light bill yet, you know. Me have $3,826 remaining. Me not pay no light bill yet. Me not pay no water rate yet. Me not take out the 10% offering for church yet. Me not take out the lunch money yet. And me not take out the savings yet. So, when they come to you and they ask you for a third term.
What's up everybody, both here at home and across the diaspora. Welcome back to another big episode of my YouTube channel, The Diaspora View. And as always, I'm your host, the one and only Sam. So before we dive into our today's main topic, please do me a single favor, please, and complete these 3 simple steps. Number 1, like this video, share this video, and then subscribe to the channel. Thank you. What do we have today? Listen up. We are dissecting a video that shines a spotlight on an alleged mathematical error attributed to the PNP political party. This video really digs into the PNP's calculations concerning the minimum wage and the cost of living. It suggests that their figures are not only inaccurate but also potentially misleading the public. So we'll also be exploring a major controversy surrounding the cost of 110 school buses recently purchased by the Jamaican government. So the PNP has been accused of misrepresenting the total cost by dividing a partial invoice by the total number of buses, creating a skewed perception, right? We're going to talk on this topic because I feel it is much needed and you people need clarity, explaining the $1.4 billion figures covering all the costs, associated costs, not just the initial purchase price of the buses. So this situation is being framed as the PNP's attempt to spread misinformation and undermine a significant government initiative. So now let us watch the rest of the video and then I'll be back to discuss the whole story in detail. Remember to like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you. Let us get into it.
$1.4 billion for 110 old bus. I am putting it right here that $1.4 billion could have bought 100 brand new coaster bus from Toyota Jamaica.
The opposition's behavior towards this initiative, which is one of the most transformative policy initiatives since independence, is downright evil, wicked, and badmind on steroids, and they must not be allowed to get away with it. Let me just go back in history. The GLP under Mike Henry tried to introduce a rural school bus system in 2011. We lost the election and Omar Davis locked it down. We had 230 buses that we were going to bring over 4 years with the first set of 65. And it was cancelled, the order for the 65, and it was scuttled on the basis that it was unsustainable and not affordable. In 2013, JUTC tried to do the same thing by putting 20 buses as a pilot for rural school bus, again scuttled and locked down by the PNP. So this will be the 3rd attempt, and this one is not going to fail because the buses are going to roll out in September. What I can say to you very clearly and categorically is that they have gotten the backlash from the people of Jamaica. And now they are using their bloggers to spread mischief and propaganda because they can't open their mouth again. These are the facts. The 110 buses will arrive in Jamaica between now and the end of July. 26 are here and 14 are being cleared tomorrow. That puts us at 40. And the rest of them will come on weekly shipments from Miami over the next 3 weeks. So that is a done deal. The cost is $1.4 billion. The $1.4 billion covers the cost of the buses, the inland transport to get them to the ports in Miami, the freight, sea freight from Miami to Kingston, the retrofitting of the doors, and also the refurbishing. It also covers 1 year maintenance, which is going to be done under the strictest conditions, similar to what the Department of Transport stipulates for the states in the 52 states. So we're not moving away from that. It also is going to have the technology of a cashless system, fare collection system, and each bus is going to have 5 cameras. One for the driver, one to look at the kids, one for the geofencing, and all of those will be accessible by the schools. And last but not least, there's a duty component that we have to pay when the buses arrive here, which is factored in it as well. So here is where the mischief comes about, based on what they are posting and putting out there. The government of Jamaica only pays for the buses when the buses are arrived in Jamaica, landed and cleared.
Okay.
That's when we pay for the buses. So right now, we have only paid or in the process of paying for the first 26 buses. So the invoice that is being circulated is for 26 buses out of 110. And what they are doing is dividing the 26 buses into the $1.4 billion because they are dunce, they are dark, and they are stupid.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. Missy, there's something that circulated. I mean, what is this?
Let me tell you something. I am so bitter.
Good people, welcome back to the channel, and I'd like us to dive deeper into the financial and logistical whirlwind surrounding the bus initiative, especially how it's been presented at times, misrepresented by the political opposition. There is the financial jigsaw puzzle. Listen up. The core of the financial controversy stems from what the government calls a misinterpretation of the total cost versus a partial invoice. The People's National Party has allegedly been circulating an invoice for just 26 buses and then incorrectly dividing that amount into the total project costing $1.4 billion. This calculation has led them to suggest that the government is grossly overpaying for each bus. However, the government has stepped forward to clarify that this invoice is only for the initial batch of 26 buses out of much larger order of 110 buses. It is crucial to understand that the 1.4 billion figure is solely for the purchase of the 110 buses. Instead, it's an all-inclusive cost that covers a wide array of components necessary to get the buses on road and operational. This comprehensive figure includes the following: the actual cost of the buses themselves, the inland transport to get them to the ports of Miami, the sea freight from Miami to Kingston, the essential retrofitting of those to meet specific standards. Then we have extensive refurbishing of the buses to ensure they're in top condition, a 1-year maintenance agreement with the strict conditions providing peace of mind, the cutting-edge technology for a cashless fare collection system, modernizing public transport. Then we have the installation of 5 cameras per bus, strategically placed for driver oversight, passenger safety, especially children, and geofencing capabilities. And finally, number 9, a duty component that is payable upon the bus's arrival and clearance in Jamaica. So, the government has also clarified a key point about the payment schedule, that they only pay for the buses once they have arrived in Jamaica, landed, and have been cleared. This means the $1.4 billion is the total projected cost for the entire initiative, not an upfront payment made solely for the first few buses, as some have mistakenly suggested. Overcoming logistical hurdles and beyond the financial arguments, there has been some questions raised about the logistics of this initiative. The opposition has hinted that the government is purchasing all buses while the government details the extensive refurbishing and retrofitting, including the costs. The source doesn't explicitly state whether the buses are new or used, beyond the opposition's claim of them being old. So the emphasis, however, is on their readiness and safety for service. Comprehensive preparation regarding bus delivery and rollout. The government has confirmed that all 110 buses are scheduled to arrive in Jamaica between now and the end of July. So we've already seen 26 buses on the island, with 14 more currently being cleared, bringing the total to 40. The remaining buses are expected in weekly shipments from Miami over the next 3 weeks, ensuring a steady rollout. Interestingly, this bus initiative represents the third attempt at establishing a robust rural school bus system. The previous two attempts were unfortunately scuttled and locked down by the PNP. Well, listen up. Back in 2011, the JLP under Mike Henry tried to introduce a system with 230 buses, with an initial set of 65. However, this initiative was cancelled by Omar Davis after the JLP lost the election, with the PNP deeming it as unsustainable and not affordable. Then in 2013, the JUTC attempted a pilot with 20 buses, which was also shut down by the PNP. The current government is adamant that this third attempt is not going to fail, and that these crucial buses will indeed roll out in September, providing much needed transportation for students in rural areas. And some of the speakers were arguing that the PNP's actions in this matter constitute mischief and propaganda. They are accused of spreading misinformation and disinformation due to their inability to perform proper financial calculations, or a deliberate attempt to undermine what the government considers as transformative policy initiative. So let us talk about the political weaponization of math errors. Now, political parties often strategically use alleged mathematical errors to undermine their rivals' credibility. This tactic can question their competence, financial acumen, or even their integrity. One clear instance highlighted is when Ian Hills, a vocal critic of the PNP, suggested that the PNP can't count and that managing an economy requires a fundamental understanding of mathematics. He presented a compelling calculation to illustrate his point. A $16,000 minimum wage after paying a $12,174 for grocery bill will leave only $3,826. Hill argued this meager sum is clearly insufficient to cover other essential expenses like light bills, water rates, church offerings, lunch money, savings, and etc. So, by highlighting what he claimed was the PNP's flawed suggestion that 1 week's minimum wage could cover a month's worth of bills, the implication is stark. The PNP lacks a realistic grasp of basic economics and household finances, making them seemingly unfit to manage the national economy. As Hills put it, if they can't do maths and people do not care about doing the right maths, you can't put them in charge of the economy. Not my words, words of Ian Hills. Another significant example involves the PNP bloggers and their alleged dissemination of misinformation regarding the government's purchase of 110 buses for $1.4 billion. They are accused of circulating an invoice for only 26 buses and then astonishingly dividing the 26 buses into the $1.4 billion to suggest an exorbitant per bus cost. This led them to falsely claim that $1.4 billion could have bought 100 brand new Costa bus from Toyota Jamaica. This alleged mathematical error was clearly used to imply that the government was mismanaging funds or overspending, their eroding public trust in a key initiative. People in Jamaica, you will tell me if all this is true. I'm just here not taking any side. So, in response, the Minister of Transport, Daryl Vaz, who is likely representing the JLP government, vehemently clarified that the $1.4 billion covers far more than just the cost of 110 buses. It includes their inland transport to Miami ports, sea freight to Kingston, retrofitting, refurbishing, one-year maintenance, a cashless fare collection system, 5 cameras per bus, and associated duty components. So the minister passionately went ahead to describe the opposition's behavior as downright evil, wicked, and bad mind on steroids for spreading mischief and propaganda based on their own done and stupid. Well, by exposing this alleged mathematical error and the incomplete understanding of the total cost, the government aimed to directly discredit the opposition's claims and protect the credibility of their transformative policy initiative, of course. So the minister went even further, stating that when you have a political organization helping to disseminate misinformation, that disinformation it poses such a threat to your country and national security. So let us look at the broader implications about trust, stability, and misinformation, especially when deliberately spread by a political organization truly poses a significant threat to a country and its national security. So the speakers have been stating that when a political organization helps to disseminate misinformation and disinformation, it poses such a threat to your country and national security. It underscores the danger of allowing individuals who can't do maths and people do not care about doing the right maths themselves to be in charge of the economy, calling it a recipe for disaster. This highlights a crucial point: inaccurate information, particularly concerning economic and policy matters, can indeed lead to instability and severely negative consequences for an entire nation. Furthermore, while not explicitly using the term public trust, the speaker, Ian Hills, clearly illustrates how misinformation campaigns such as the one regarding the cost of the buses involves the deliberate spread of mischief and propaganda by political bloggers. So the emphasis here is on the critical role of the platforms that provide the right information to counter these misleading narratives. This suggests that without such counter efforts, the public could easily be misled. This constant need to correct, deliberately spread falsehoods implicitly undermines trust in the information provided by certain political entities and can ultimately lead to a more cynical or misinformed populace, creating a challenging environment for national progress and stability. In essence, the PNP's maths challenge is portrayed as a combination of poor calculation or a fundamental misunderstanding of financial figures and a deliberate attempt to misrepresent data for political gain. Their opponents argue that this not only undermines the PNP's credibility but also poses a tangible risk to national stability. I don't know what you think about this, but let me know your thoughts on this situation in the comment section. Do you think these mathematical errors are genuine mistakes or deliberate attempts to mislead? Share your comments below, like this video, share this video, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel. Just be your boy for today, Sam. This is the Diaspora View. I hope to see you in my next video. Adios.